Welcome to Star Citizen. There are plenty of different weapons and loadouts you can make in this game. I have taken my Drake Bucaneer, and the stock loadout is actually quite nice. It's pretty heavy to take down most of your targets, so I think it's one of the better loadouts, although it is mixed with quite heavy ballistics. This in mind, what would happen if I would downgrade all of these weapons? Perhaps not even do the worst weapons, but the worst weapons is kind of arbitrary. Even the worst weapons have their perhaps specific uses. They can be a Gatling gun, while they can be a cannon. So the difference is in DPS and what it overall does. Distortion repeaters versus laser repeaters versus ballistic cannons. There are plenty of scenarios, there are plenty of weapons with their each fire rate, their damage, their ammo. It's all different in a way. So I pretty much took this stock loadout and changed it to this. There are some pretty obvious differences, and of course the DPS is one of them. The alpha damage may have gone up, but the DPS has gone down, so the more hits I land, the better I do, but in general, considering what I can burst out per second, will be smaller. Since I am a light fighter, I'm gonna go against other light fighters, given that my DPS is gonna be very heavy and effective against them, and because of that reason I should be able to burn them down in mere moments. It can vary a little if I miss at the longer distances, everything like that. Ballistic weapons are usually wasted at long distances, but I'm gonna try to burst out as much as I can from the start. I do have a size 4 on top, and since it's ballistic, I should be done. That went really fast, and I'm guessing this won't take too much longer either. And come on. Oh my god, it did go that fast. I did waste a lot of ammo though, and I only have 2 laser weapons or energy weapons. But damn, that size 4 just works so hard. Just to make sure that wasn't lucky or fluke or anything, I'm gonna start going once more. This time I was not as effective, I started pretty far away, but I guess it's size 4, yeah, it still brought it down really fast. Now I got another target and a bit of ammo left, I hope this should do. Yep, okay, this wasn't a dogfight, so I really didn't get to burn it straight on, but hopefully it won't turn much and I will land most of my hits. I don't have much, okay, died. Didn't really have that much ammo left. I was thinking I might just need to do it with my Panthers, but that was nice. The conclusion of the stock loadout is it can take me somewhere between 2 to 5 seconds to bring down other light fighters. At least the low-end fighters. As you can already see, the cannon on the top has changed, some of the guns have also been swapped out. They're all not ideal, they're all not great, they're all not ballistic, they're all not laser. I think this loadout actually affects modules and components of the ship a lot more than the stock loadout, because the cannon on top, it's meant to do splash damage, it's not too heavy on that aspect. It actually has a kind of low rate of fire. The distortion weapons, of course, they bite through shields and disable the ship's components. And the little cannons I do have will have to do a lot of the work. This is going to be significantly harder. The weapons are still quite here, the damage is actually okay, but I'm just doing more to the components and less to the actual ship itself. Even if I am able to keep my aim at the targets. The time between shots is quite significant, so I might land the first shot or first shots, and then it's probably gonna be a miss once I drop away from my target. Or even if it outturns me. So this took me quite a bit longer. It actually wasn't as long as I thought it would be, but it still was quite significant. The weapons I am packing might be better to take on bigger targets. I got especially weapons to knock out the components, so grabbing something with medium freight or a dropship or something at those lines would be a bit sweeter for me with this loadout. It doesn't mean I can't take on light fighters. Another problem that may arise is that all of these weapons may not land their shots at the same location. There is a bit of spread, there is a bit of a fire rate difference, there of course is the speed difference. You can see the bit of difference once I'm shooting. Some fire faster, some fire slower, some fire with decibels, some require me to press, spam it to fire. I didn't even build myself out to have the worst DPS loadout, I just put a mix of different low DPS guns on my ship, most of which actually affect ship components. The cannon on top, it does pack a punch, but it's also very specifically against components. The distortion ones also against components and the shield. Attach in high alpha damage, low DPS, long range. The loadout is still quite fun. It's probably the attachment cannons at the moment that have been able to keep me occupied with this last target. The biggest problem or the difference between these loadouts for me is that the stock loadout is high rate of fire, high DPS that requires you to keep your aim on the target. While my special funky goofy loadout is something that requires you to shoot precisely when you have the aim on the target. So when you don't have the aim, you can be wasting ammo with some of these weapons. But okay, comparing the DPS with both of these weapons, they both have their own DPS, they both have their differences in alpha damage and the use of their weapons, as it is common for most of the weapons in-game to have special uses that do offer less DPS, but let's say there is splash, there is damage to the shields, distortion, whatever. Even with this little DPS that I have with my loadout at the moment, I was actually able to bring down the targets in a steady stream of fire, somewhere between 7 to 10 seconds. It took me around 2-3 times more to take down one of those targets it would have taken me to take down with the stock loadout. We can clearly say that there was a difference between the two loadouts. The stock loadout still offered quite heavy setup, then again it was for Drake Bucaneer, which does have quite a heavy setup in the stock loadout. While my loadout, this focus was different, but it was still capable enough to bring down some of those light fighters, although you spent 2 to 3 times longer bringing them down. So the DPS doesn't really give you an overall understanding of what is happening. It's more on the side of what kind of weapons you have, what they are good for, and what do they do. What will they affect? What is their focus? Having 5 times lower DPS didn't make me 5 times weaker. Still, it was a fun little test, just to see what I can do, how it will affect it. And to be honest, it wasn't that bad. The focus was different, and I think it could have been a lot more fun against bigger ships, which will get affected by the module damage a lot more from the cannon, and less with the ship themselves receiving this huge chunk of damage that will decimate them eventually. At least it was interesting. These low DPS weapons do pack a punch. They are incredible, they are remarkable, but their job is not to bring down targets, like that pretty good stock loadout we had with the Bucaneer. Anyways, thanks for watching.